guys, welcome back to another episode of Beginner Baking with me. This week we are going to be making pumpkin bread. Now, this recipe is a little different from the one we did last week, because this one has eggs. So, let's get started. First, we will need 2 cups of flour. Right here. And we will put it into our mixer. Now, one of the things you'll need to help level out the flour is a butter knife. You always want to use a butter knife to make sure you get the right amount of flour inside your cup. Like that, see? And if you don't get the whole cup full, you can just dump it back in and get it all the way full. And there we go. 2 cups. Now the next ingredient, you'll need 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Right here. Now, as it said, we need 2 teaspoons, which is this one, right here. And smooth it out. And we need 2 of them. 2 cups of flour and 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Okay, now that we have our baking powder done, we can move on to baking soda. Right here. And we need a half a teaspoon of baking soda, which is this one right here. And there we go. Our baking soda is in. And now we will do salt. But I'll be right back in a second. I gotta go put some stuff in the sink. Okay, so now we're going to be putting in salt. We will need 1 teaspoon for that. Okay. So 1 teaspoon. Just a second. Okay, I got the teaspoon washed. And now we're going to do salt. 1 teaspoon of salt. Now that salt is done, we can move on to pumpkin spice. Now, of course, it has to have pumpkin spice because it's pumpkin bread. You can't have it without pumpkin spice. And it says 1 teaspoon of pumpkin spice. Like this. There we go. And now that we have the pumpkin spice in it, we can do the pumpkin puree, which is right here. And we need to put in 1 cup of pumpkin puree. Which means we'll need a spoon. And here's our spoon. Got a little water in it. And you can flatten out by using the back side of your spoon. Like so. There we go. Now we can put it in. I'm going to go put this. Okay, so now that we've gotten our pumpkin puree done, we're going to do 1 cup of sugar. Right here. And I'm gonna go wash this cup. Okay, so now that we've washed our cup, we're going to add the sugar. And we only need 1 cup of sugar. Like that. There we go. Sugar is done. Now we need a 1/2 cup of milk. And you want to make sure with these liquids you don't want to spill it. There we go. The milk is now done. Next we need 2 eggs, which are right here. And you want to crack them over the bowl, like this. There we go. You always want to remember that after you crack the eggs, you always want to wash your hands. Okay, so now that we have gotten our eggs and our stuff in, we're going to move on to 1/4 of a cup of vegetable oil right here. And as I said, with the liquids, you need to be very careful that you don't spill anything. Otherwise, you'll have a huge mess in your kitchen. There we go. The vegetable oil is done. Now, all we gotta do is mix it up and get it ready to go inside the pan. And you need to mix it for about 1 minute to 2 minutes. So it'll be good and smooth. And these are so nothing spills out of it. You can also put them on in the beginning so you could slide in your ingredients from here. But I didn't do that. You always want to make sure that you lock it in place. Now I start on a low setting. As I said, you want to start on a very low setting and work your way up higher. There we go. And if it looks a little lumpy and it doesn't look right, you can always add just a small bit amount of milk. Now I'm gonna go get my pans ready. Okay, so now that yours is mixed for about 2 or 1 minute, you can get your pans ready. This is what I'm using. They're little fall critters and stuff. I like those. And then a bread tray, like so, because I know I won't have enough batter. Too much batter for these. Now what you want to always do before you stick your batter into anything, you always want to spray it to make sure it doesn't stick. Like this, see? Spray it nice and good. I'm going to spray these. It may take a while. Okay, so now that you sprayed your pans like this, and don't worry, if you get a little extra on the outside, you can always wipe that off with a paper towel. Which is what I'm going to do. Just like this, around the edges. See? So it doesn't burn or anything. And there we go. And now that your batter is done, we can now start pouring it in to the cake pans, or bread pans. Now, of course, you'll always need here we go. This is what your batter should look like. And now that that's done, we're going to first pour it in to the cake or the bread pan. And you don't want to fill it up too full, otherwise it will rise and it'll just be a mess. So you don't want to fill it up too full. Alrighty. Now we can pour the rest of the batter into our bread pan. You always want to scrape the edges because there's still batter in there. Don't want to miss any of that yummy, delicious pumpkin bread. Alrighty, time to pour. All good. Now we're going to put these in the oven at 350 and we're going to bake them for 55 minutes. And we will be back. And now here is a finished product. It's a pumpkin and I put some cool on it. It's still a little hot. I just barely took it out of the oven. My big one is still in the oven because it takes 55 minutes to bake. The little ones take like about 15 minutes. And when you know they're done is when the timer goes off. And then you stick a toothpick in it and pull it out, and if any batter sticks to it, then you know you're good. I mean, if any batter sticks to it, it's still not done. But if no batter sticks to it, then it's done. And you can take it out, and here you go. This is what it looks like. The cool fell off. Anyway, that's the pumpkin. Thank you for watching Beginner Baking with me. Bye. See you next time.